Yo, welcome to Hard Pass. I am your host, Jacques Slade. It's the show that encourages you to get creative with your setup, like Mariah Carey did when she sang Always Be My Baby for her iHeartRadio performance. She had producers and backup singers do their thing remotely, and most importantly, she had a fan blowing her hair like she was outdoors on a video shoot. Man, we technically already do that for Hard Pass. I'm not sure if you can tell or not. Let's move on to some hot takes. Jordan Brand has unveiled its summer 2020 lineup, and it feels incomplete. The highlight appears to be the upcoming Court Purple 1s, the return of the Flint 13s, and a handful of metallic 4s, and that's it. I know these previews don't always include the super hype stuff or the exclusive collabs, but geez, it's like HBO giving us free stuff to watch this month but not including Game of Thrones. Oh wait, they did do that. And what might be the most blatant attempt at becoming a TikTok sensation, Drake just dropped his new song Tootsie Slide with a chorus that goes right foot up, left foot slide, left foot up, right foot slide. He even has on a Nike balaclava on just to make sure everybody knows to stay safe and clean. Between this new dance and the reveal of his child Adonis, are we really sure Pusha T won that feud now? Godzilla is coming to Magic the Gathering. That's a sentence I never thought I'd say in 2020, and it's already got a card that's canceled, which sounds like something I would say in 2020. One of the cards featuring the iconic monster has the title Death Corona on it, which I don't have to tell you why that's problematic now. Obviously, this card was developed and produced way before our world changed, so hopefully people won't treat this card the same way they've treated Corona beer. It's just a card, people. Just so you know, sanitize it before you touch it. The Melo Ball, possible #1 pick in this year's NBA draft that we assume is still going to happen, may have just purchased the Illawarra Hawks, the Australian NBL team he played for last year. Not really sure how much of a smart investment that is, but hey, more power to the kid for potentially making an actual big baller move. Not many kids can say they own a professional sports franchise at his age. As for his dad, well,
and it says the net worth of Big Baller Brand is estimated to be over $1 billion. So who do you know at Google? How did you get them to change that answer?
Well, everybody knows it's worth $1 billion. Why do you think they're coming at me so hard?
Not sure anybody on that video knows how Google works. Only trust the experts, kids, because sometimes the algorithms will fail you. A pair of Apple sneakers sold for nearly $10,000 recently. A little background. These shoes were prototypes from the early 90s as part of Apple's apparel line. They never actually released, and the prototypes ended up going to Apple employees at the time and will sell for thousands of dollars, especially those that are still in good condition. It's fascinating, but what I'm really interested in is the actual swag Apple was making, many of which are featured in this catalog I stumbled upon online. You didn't even call them lookbooks back in the days, but that's technically what this is. It's got sweater, hats, and bags that most kids would wear today for their Throwback Thursday pictures. The catalog even features collabs with brands like Braun, Tiffany's, and Honda. You can't even say the word Tiffany in the sneaker world without getting a cease and desist letter. Turns out they only work with brands like Apple. They were Supreme before Supreme, putting their logo on other people's products and calling it a day. I would love to do an unboxing of all this Apple stuff just for fun, after I sanitize them. Not because of the coronavirus, but because they're old enough to be millennials. Let's move on to story time. With people staying in and checking their phones constantly, a lot of random things start to trend for no newsworthy reason. Along with the edit button and the racism, it's the thing I want Twitter to address the most. Like, don't show me that Jessica Alba is trending and then the tweets are either people wondering why Jessica Alba is trending or gifts from idle hands. Like, I watch idle hands every day anyways. But another thing that's popping up on Twitter are the random challenges to name their top 5 whatever or their Mount Rushmore of something or other. So in the short 2-season history of Hard Pass, I would like to name our Mount Rushmore. What's the criteria, you might ask? Well, it's not limited to sneakers or people. It's the things that we find ourselves talking about the most and coming back to because the audience demands it. And well, it's kind of easy to make jokes about them. So without further ado, here's our Hard Pass Mount Rushmore. First up, we have the one and only Kanye West. In our unscientific research of Hard Pass Google Docs, Kanye and his Yeezys have been mentioned, discussed, and dissected more than any person or thing on this show. And it's easy to see why. Kanye moves the needle no matter the climate. I mean, sure, his power to attract has diminished as he steers further and further away from the old Kanye, but his name recognition and association with the Kardashian empire still means he can get a cover story on the Wall Street Journal magazine, or an audience with the president, or the ability to sell out his next sneaker project no matter how weird it might look. Next, we have Jordan Retros, and it's rare these days for a pair of retros to sell out unless they're really a hot pair of ones or an OG colorway of the 11s, but there's a reason they still take up so much space in the sneaker store. The right pair of retros, like say the Travis Scott Cactus Jack 4s or the Off-White 5s or even the highly questionable Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse 1s, still capture the imagination and the dollars of the public that no other brand is able to do on a regular basis. Now, if we can only do something about the prices Jordan Brand is charging for them, that would make me happy. Next up, we have Sneakers app. And I guess we can involve other sneaker apps in the discussion too, like how StockX exposed our data or how Adidas can't figure out location data, but Sneakers app ends up taking a spot in our Rushmore, and it's not for a good reason. That's why it's called hashtag Saturday and not hashtag yo I won the draw on sneakers that thank you sneaker gods. It's for the nonstop L's we keep taking on this app. I'm not the type of person who expects to be able to win or purchase any limited sneaker that I want, but what I do want are assurances from Nike in their IT department that they are doing absolutely everything they can to combat bots and make everything an even playing field. I mean, who knew the right to pay Nike $200 every weekend was this serious? But it is. It is to those of us who live this life. All right, next up, Florida Man. Just kidding, but Florida Man is a first ballot Hall of Famer for What's Poppin', the bi-weekly show I host on IGTV. By the way, I'm not the only one who saw Tiger King and was shocked that Joe Exotic wasn't a Florida Man story, right? Clout, as in the word clout. We often use clout to highlight somebody on social media trying to flex for the sake of likes. It can come with a punchline or a Thanos meme, or if I can find one that's safe for work, a gift from that Cardi B song with Offset. The chase for clout is real, even in times like this, where there are people licking toilets to get it among the other things that they may or may not get. There's nothing wrong with a little positive reinforcement. I mean, we all have egos to a certain degree, but when you are doing something unsafe just to get said clout, whether it's a dumb prank or a dangerous stunt where you're hanging from the top of a building and all we can see are your Red Octobers, it ain't worth it, kids. It never, ever was. The Heat Check is here to let you know about this weekend's big releases, including some that might be big releases that will probably be a big release a month from now, and one pair that was last weekend's big release that got pushed back to this weekend. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Look, we're in a unique time, people, let me tell you. First up, we have the Air Jordan 7 Hair 2.0. These drop on the 8th for $250. This Bugs Bunny homage tries to actually replicate the look of having a cartoon rabbit on your feet. The only problem I have with this is that $250 price tag. Nope, it's not a typo. I guess that's the price you pay for Wabbit season. Get it? All right, next up we have the Air Jordan 1 Mid Multicolor. These are on the 9th for $125. The ladies get this pastel multicolor exclusive that would look great with your Easter egg hunting outfit. You know, the Easter egg hunt that you're gonna do with your family in the privacy of your own home with the eggs that are at least 6 feet apart from one another. That one. Then we have the Ninja and Adidas Night Jogger. Those drop on the 10th for $130. I know it's a hip thing right now to not be a fan of the popular streamer on Mixer, but his first Night Jogger collab appeared to sell well at launch, so we'll see if that continues with this louder colorway, and the Night Jogger's a dope shoe. Then we have the Reebok Question Black Toe. These drop on the 10th. It's a classic combination of white, black, and gold this week for Allen Iverson's most iconic sneaker, and it works well. I feel like these will fly under the radar and will be quite popular when the price starts to drop, so look out for those. Then we have the Court Purple Jordan 1. Those drop on the 11th for $170. As somebody who missed out on the first Court Purple ones in 2018, I would have relished the chance to cop these. Of course, what I'm not relishing is that $10 price increase, but as long as the ones continue to be popular in certain styles and color, Jordan Brand is going to be able to get away with it. These were supposed to drop last week, but got delayed to this weekend, so we'll see. And then we have my pick of the week, the Nike KD 13 Hype. These drop on the 10th for $160. There's a chance these could get delayed to May, but for now, I can't think of a nickname more appropriate than Hype. It looks like Kanye and Jay-Z's vision board when they were making Watch the Throne. It feels a little outdated for 2020 when we prefer monochromatic sneakers, but for those of us who still have love for the opulence of the early 2010s, this is a perfect throwback to that time. All right, it's time for this week's Hard Pass, where we take a look at something in the culture that just needs to go. Like this attempt by a hacker to get $100 million from AMD after they stole graphics code that could be used on the Xbox Series X. AMD has said it's non-essential stuff, so it's like saying somebody broke into a Nike factory and stole all the laces. I mean, it sucks, but I think they'll get by. Anyways, this week's Hard Pass goes to the big business takeover that's happening right now, and that includes your local sneaker stores. There isn't a single industry that hasn't been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Some have been weird, like people buying up all the liquor at the store except for the Coronas, and some have been devastating, like the hard choices small businesses have to face. They have had to temporarily shut down, while others have had to make the difficult decision of either laying off or furloughing workers as hours change. Meanwhile, there are other businesses that are thriving. Well, Thriving probably isn't the right word, but they're definitely in a surge at the moment. Amazon is hiring, Domino's is hiring, all sorts of delivery services are popping up and becoming more valuable than ever. Because people don't want to go out, they're relying on service people who are out and are capable of dropping off your packages or groceries to your front door. From a safe distance, of course. For those of us who can afford to have dinner dropped off, we should be thankful for the work and sacrifice these delivery people are putting in. And then there are the FedEx and UPS drivers who have continued to work through it all and dropping off our latest sneaker packages that we brought this past weekend. But the people we also can't forget are those who work at your local taco truck or your grocery that always seem to have the good brand of rice every morning, or your local sneaker shop that was already feeling the crunch of losing their Nike account. They need help, support, and money as well. If they have gift cards, pick them up right now so they get paid and cash them in once restrictions are lifted and you feel safe going out again. If they can ship to you, order your sneakers there instead of at the big box retailers. I'm not saying you need to choose between getting Starbucks at the drive-thru or your local boba shop that has a Boba Fett helmet on display for some reason, but what makes our communities cool and unique aren't the number of chain restaurants that we have that every other town has. It's the hole-in-the-wall spots that you won't find anywhere else. And when we're out of this situation, I hope they'll be able to open their doors once again. All right, that's gonna do it for the show. Thank you guys for watching Hard Pass. I am Jacques Slade. I'll see you again next week, but not before I show you Hurricane, the tortoise who is taking this social distancing thing quite well by dribbling their basketball. I'll see you guys next week. Peace.